There are multiple ways as to how we can declare a variable. The first way, it teaches us how to declare a single variable. And the syntax for declaring a single variable is denoted like whereby we have a data type. We already know what data types are, and then we have a variable name. And for naming a variable, we have to follow the rules for naming a variable, which we have also seen. And the final thing that is needed is our semicolon. And the reason as to why we have made use of the semicolon over here is because this instruction is a logical instruction and it performs a particular task, which in this case is it declares a variable. And this is the example for the declaration of a single variable by the name age of student, which is of integer data type. Now since the data type of this variable is int, we can say that age of student can only hold integer numbers. Having said that, let us now look at as to how we can declare multiple variables. The syntax for declaring multiple variable is similar to that of the syntax for declaration of a single variable, except for the fact that we have commas, which is used to separate different variables. And this is the example whereby we declare multiple variables, and the variables are by the name of age, roll number, and number of students separated by our comma, and all of which are of the integer data type, not to forget the semicolon as well. The other way of declaring a variable is by declaring the variable and assigning values to it at the same time. And this is the syntax where we declare a variable and at the same time we are assigning values to the variable. This is the example whereby we have declared a variable by the name age, which is of integer data type. And now since age is a variable which can hold only integers, that's the reason why I have assigned it an integer value. And with this one line of statement, I am declaring a variable as well, and I am even assigning a value to the variable. Now that we know what data types is, the different classification of data types our C++ programming language has to offer, we also got to know what variables are, the rules associated while naming a variable, and the different syntax as to how we can declare variables. Let us now make use of variables into our program. This program is basically an extension to the previous program whereby we were greeting the viewers with the message hello from the community. However, since this program is an extension to the previous program, we are also going ahead and displaying the user info on our output screen, and the information which we are displaying is the class which the student belongs to, the height of the student, the name of the student, and the section of the student. Now since class is an integer, that's why we are making use of the integer data type. Coming to the height can be an integer or a float or a decimal number, and that's the reason why I have decided to make use of the float data type. Name is basically a combination of characters, and that's the reason why I've made use of the string as the data type. And since section is a single character, I've made use of the char as the data type. Having said that, in this first 3 lines of code, we are declaring variables by the name of class, height, and name. And in the next 3 lines of code, we are assigning values to the variable. If you look at this particular line of code, you'll notice that out here I have declared a variable by the name section and At the same time, I have assigned a value of a to the variable. Now that we have declared variables which is used to store viewers information and that we have assigned values to those variables, let us now display the values for those variables in our output screen, for which we need to make use of the cout object which comes inside of our iostream header file. Now if you look at this particular statement, you'll see that I'm trying to display different information held by this variable, and at the same time I'm trying to display the message hello from the community. And these different information after the cout object is separated by our insertion operator ending with a semicolon. Let us now go ahead and execute this set of instruction. On successful execution, you will see this output on your display screen, whereby we have the values provided to the variable and the message hello from the community. But the problem with this output is that it is not readable. So let's try and make this a readable output, for which we will make use of the endl statement into our cout statement, whereby endl denotes end of line. We make use of the endl statement whenever we want the printing cursor to go over to the next line and begin printing the value after it. Let us now look at what this cout statement does. It helps in printing the value stored inside the variable class, and then on encountering the endl statement, the cursor moves on to the next line, and then the value for height is printed on the next line. Again, on encountering the endl statement, the cursor again moves to the next line, and then the name is printed, and the process continues in this way. On executing this code, we get a cleaner version of the output, and it's all because of our endl statement. Another important property of a variable is its ability to change the value stored inside it. So if you look at these lines of code, in this particular line I have declared a variable by the name section, and I have assigned it with a value a, and then in the next line I am printing the value stored inside the variable sec, followed by the message hello from the community. And then in the next line, what I have done is that I have changed the value stored inside the variable from a to b, and then I have printed the value for sec, followed by the message again. On executing the program, we will see that the value for the variable section is in fact changing from a to b. Now that we know what variables are and how to use them in a program, let us now discuss about constants.